For more on this, we're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for the afternoon, Dr. Ayman Ghoniem, our economic expert. Dr. Ayman, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Thank you very much, doctor, for your time, as usual, highly appreciated. Now, doctor, how do you see the successful passage of the green methanol container ship like the Bangkok Maersk, validating first Egypt's positioning, specific importance on the Suez Canal, as well as this indispensable, green corridor for the low emission of global shipping?
Well, actually, the return of the major container services,
yes,
if we can speak on a wider scale, it shows the recovery of the Suez corridor as one of the main world shipping corridors and transit routes on the one hand, but also it reinforces and supports Egypt's long-term strategy of turning the Suez corridor into a global platform for production, for logistic services, for exportation, and for integrated trade services. Actually, if we look, we'll find that the Suez Canal revenues reached $4.67 billion in the fiscal year 25-26, with a loss of 23%. Actually, of course, this is a notable growth that shows that shipping companies are now coming back to use Suez Canal. But of course, it's still lower than the historical level of 9.4 million achieved in the fiscal year 22-23 and the historical level of 10.4 billion achieved in the calendar year 23. But again, I'm confirming that it really shows the recovery of the Suez Canal, and it shows that the shipping companies, the global powerhouses in the shipping industry like Maersk, they now feel that the security risks in the Red Sea are diminishing, and that they are back to using Suez Canal.
Indeed.
And if we see the statements made by the captain of the ship.
Yes, indeed. I was just going to ask you about that. He said it saves roughly 14 days instead of going round or circumnavigating Africa. And this is a critical indication for the importance of this Suez Canal and this corridor, and the controlling as well of international freight costs, because we've seen a great jump in the costs for international shipping.
Well, actually, as you mentioned, the captain said that the Suez corridor saves around 14 days in the shipping time, and we know that time is money.
Indeed.
Such saving of 14 days, of course, reduces the fuel cost and also reduces the financing cost, because most of this inventory that's shipped is being financed by short-term bank facilities. And therefore, when you reduce the shipping time and you sell the goods 14 days earlier, then you can repay the debt 14 days earlier, and the financing cost decreases. And that's why you have compounded cost of not using Suez Canal. But of course, there were some security risks and security worries. And these security risks were translated by increasing insurance expenses. But presently, with the recovery of the shipping route and such growth that I've just mentioned, I believe that things are getting back to normal.
Indeed, let's hope so. Dr. Ayman, now let's also talk a bit about some of the recent infrastructural developments, such as, of course, the new Suez Canal, the southern sector expansions, the developments we've seen in the ports as well. How do they, demonstrate the Egyptian state's proactive commitment to accommodating the next generation and ultra-large container vessel ships and catering for all their needs?
Well, actually, since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was elected to presidency in 2014, and his vision and the vision of the whole Egyptian state is to transform Suez Canal, as we said, from just a shipping corridor into becoming a world-class platform for logistic services, for manufacturing, for exportation. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is the first leader since long time to understand and to try to apply the competitive advantages of Egypt's geopolitical position, understanding the economics of such position, because the goods that are manufactured in Southeast Asia, for example, they take a lot of expenses and costs and also risks in terms of shipping from the Indian Ocean to the Arabian Sea, then Bab el-Mandeb Strait, then the Red Sea until they reach Suez Canal, and then they are exported to Southern Europe and North America. All these expenses are deducted from the goods manufactured in Suez Canal. That's why Egypt started by digging the second branch of Suez Canal with a length of 72 kilometers. That reduced the passage time from 18 to 11 hours, and then started developing and increasing the capacity of the 6 ports on the Suez Canal, starting from Adabiya and Sofna ports in southern Suez Bay, then Tor port in southern Sinai, and east and west for Said port, and the Arish port in northern Sinai. If we look at the stock of foreign investments so far made in Suez Canal economic zone, they reached more than $25 billion US. Of course, the biggest share is for China, more than $12 billion. And we have a lot of success stories, of course, the most notable of which is Kedah economic zone, the Chinese economic zone, targeting a lot of industries, including textiles, ready-made garments, automotive spare parts, solar panels, and electronics. But also we have investments from other countries like India, Turkey, and Brazil. And Russia is also having a lot of planned investments there in the industrial or the economic zone of Suez Canal. Actually, the Egyptian economy presently is undergoing a major transformation process under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, from historically being a rentier economy into developing to become a production-based and export-based and most importantly, a value-added based economy. And at the heart of such transformation is Suez Canal economic zone.
Indeed. And also on that note, Dr. Ayman, we've seen the logistics hub and the aim of Egypt to become a global logistics hub, providing, of course, state-of-the-art services as well to complete the circle, so to speak. How important do you see the development of ports in Egypt to support this aspiration?
Well, actually, the Suez Canal economic zone is a very good place or is an example that shows the application of synergy in the present transformation of the Egyptian economy, and by synergy we mean that it's a concept in management and also in physical sciences, in medicine also. It's where 1 + 1 is not equal to, it's equal to 2.5 or maybe 3. When you put many components together, their outcome is algebraic summation of them. Therefore, the development of Suez Canal economic zone, the development of the port, increasing investments in logistics, in manufacturing, in value-added manufacturing, along with the Egyptian industrialization strategy that deep the industries and localizing the input of industries. All these increase the traffic through Suez Canal. So when we're talking about the historical level of $10 billion achieved in the calendar year 2023, we can even achieve more by developing such economic zone into becoming the logistic and manufacturing hub of the region. And the good thing here is that, as we learned in management and in economics also, that the opportunity comes to the prepared ones. Today we see a lot of restructuring in the international economic scene. We see China moving considerable parts of its manufacturing base outside in order to avoid the U.S. tariffs. And of course, Suez Canal is a candidate to receive a great sum of such manufacturing base. And this is based on the massive construction process that was undergone in Egypt during the previous 12 years under the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Not only the massive construction process in Suez Canal economic zone, but in the whole country. The construction of 7,000 new kilometers of roads, the increasing the capacity of more than 10,000 kilometers. Now we have a national road network of 31,000 kilometers, the construction of 22 fourth generation cities, of course the most notable of which are the administrative capital as well as the new Al Alamein city. All these construction processes actually, they provide a lot of investment opportunities and they support the transportation and they support the efficiency of the transportation system that must be there in order to facilitate the transformation of the country into an industrial base in the Middle East.
Absolutely right. We will leave it at that. I'd like to thank you very, very much. Our dear guest, Dr. Ayman Ghoniem, our economic expert. Many thanks, sir, for your time and your insight and for joining us on today's episode of Cairo Watch.